Well, hello there. What is going on, everyone? We are going to kick off this watch party. It is Ministravaganza time. It is upon us. And we are going to be dealing with opening ceremonies and also the Shatterpoint roadmap. This is gonna be fun because opening ceremonies, you never know what to expect. There have been times in the past where opening ceremonies were more eventful than others. Sometimes they've just been kind of like, welcome, we're drinking our coffee and we're going to have some fun. And then other times they set the stage for what might be massive announcements. When they unveiled X-Wing, X-Wing's new rule set, they kind of set the stage saying, look, you guys are going to be super pissed at what we have to announce. I mean, not in those words exactly, but we never know. So they can really set the stage. They can give us some talking points. They can tell us what to expect. And then they can also maybe, I made this little thing like, people are like, do you think they'll say anything about Armada or X-Wing? No, I definitely don't. I think they want to avoid those like the plague. I don't think they ever wanted to talk about them when they were supported. I think now that they finally got them gone, they're not going to talk about them very much. What's going on, everybody in chat? So the way this is going to work, if you haven't ever done these watch parties with me before, is we are going to have some Q&A. We'll chat. We'll watch. We'll hang out. Once the stream starts, I will flip over. We'll watch that. I will turn my mic off. And I've done some settings to make sure that hopefully YouTube plays no ads during this time. I know in the past, like, what's one of the problems is like we already have to deal with them running ads on their Twitch. For whoever was streaming like the last big event was running ads on Twitch, so it was like the AMG gives only one person, one channel the ability to stream their events from Adepticon, and then they run ads like right in the middle of like the coolest parts and stuff. So we're I think we're working it to where ads will only run like during the non-AMG, during the non-info stuff when we're just kind of casually chatting, like maybe right now, I don't know. So that's kind of how this is gonna work. Anyway, Jacob, what's going on, everybody else that's in chat? We've got Snivy, Matthias, River, Matthew, Eternal, Max, and Jacob. Jacob says, I've enjoyed the 13th Fleet episode with you and the gang. That was a lot of fun, yeah. What's going on, Zachary? What's going on, everybody in chat? We are, we are very close. We've got about 20 minutes until the opening ceremony. So my question for you guys is multiple parts. First question is, who likes giveaways? We've got some X-Wing promos to give away today. We're going to do some of these on stream. We're also going to do some of these in to Patreon. So we're trying to do a push. I am looking at some new possible rewards for Patreon as well. More on that is going to be coming soon. But I'm looking at possibly doing like podcast style hangouts where patrons get to kind of pick some of the topics, even if they're things I don't necessarily cover as often, but like if you've got a dream topic, so for higher level patrons will be able to do that, and maybe have some patrons kind of join in and kind of have a roundtable discussion. I want to involve patrons a little bit more. We already have certain things. There's Discord roles. There's all kinds of cool stuff like that, and it's great. It's a great way to support the channel. And I want to involve patrons a little more. So that's something that's going to be worked. Can barely hear me. I'll turn it up a little bit. I don't want my mic to be too loud. Well, of course, I will be turning it off completely. You may just need to turn up. Anybody else watching, let me know. I can see the levels, and I'm like in the yellow right now. So for me, that's like perfect. But I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know how the audio sounds, and yeah. But let me know. All right, I hear some goods. Okay, so just double check your stuff. Yeah. All right. Some say super quiet. Just double check. Just double check your volume settings. Maybe pull up a different video too, and check all of that stuff. AMG, I will have them turned up a little bit. I'll try to get them to the high yellow, maybe almost barely approaching the red. For my little EQ settings. So when they start. Now, if you want to watch on their Twitch channel, the URL is right here. twitch.tv/Atomic Mass Games. You can watch there, or you can watch with me, or if you'd like, you can do both. One of the reasons that I do this is, for one, it's just a good celebration of hype and new things. I think a lot of you guys, how many of you guys are here for Star Wars Legion? How many of you guys are Legion fans? Let me know. Do hashtag Legion in the chat. And if you're here for Shatterpoint, give me a hashtag Shatterpoint. And if it's both, that's fine. You can drop both hashtags. Let me know. Or whatever games that you're actually... Let me know what games that you guys are playing. You know, like X-Wing or Armada or Shatterpoint or Marvel Crisis Protocol or Warhammer, Age of Sigmar. Speaking of which, do we have any Age of Sigmar fans in the channel? That's a game that I have been playing lately, and they just came out with 4th edition. So it's a really fun time for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. It's a medieval game, really, really great minis. So kind of medieval fantasy. Skaven Tide, yes. Yeah, I'm painting. I started painting rats last night. There's a lot of rats. So I have a lot of rats to paint. I actually recently just got a box from Atomic Mass Games, also for Shatterpoint. It's the Ghost Crew. I have not done the unboxing yet. I'm going to try and get that done this weekend. It arrived right before Ministravaganza, and I'm like, I have so much on my plate right now. I still have Star Wars Unlimited. I still got some Star Wars Unlimited, a booster box that I haven't done an unboxing of yet. And from what I hear, the Star Wars Unlimited printing of this set number 2 is completely bonkers. Like, people are opening booster packs that are like all rares and all kinds of ridiculous things. Like, or triple the amount of legendaries they're supposed to have, and crazy stuff like that. So I'm really curious how this booster box is going to be. They did a great job on the Rebels crew. Curtis says, awesome. Yeah, they look good from what I've seen so far. I didn't prioritize opening them yet. I want to wait until I have some more time. Hopefully that'll be this weekend. I'll be looking for like for publishing that like next week, and I'll give you my take on the Ghost crew, and I'll try to assemble them so you can see them all assembled. But by now, I think a lot of people already have them, so I don't think the demand is like super high to get those right away. But yeah, we're gonna do some giveaways. We're gonna have some fun today, and we've got a lot of stuff going. So I did a video yesterday talking about the schedule. There is another stream today at 4:30 Eastern. It's going to be the Legion stream. That's going to deal with the battle orders. So I'm excited about that one. And that one's going to be this evening, so you can have your dinner after or earlier or before, and maybe have a late lunch and then hang out and watch with us and party. And we'll do more giveaways. I'm going to try and do giveaways every stream. Now, cool thing about these giveaways is we're going to do a lot of them. I'm going to mail it to you anywhere in the world. You're good. But I'm going to need you to email me with what you won. You need to tell me. Remember what you win. Remember what you win, because if you don't tell me what you win, you're just going to get whatever I give you, and it might be the wrong thing. So, because I'm going to do a lot of giveaways, and I don't remember who is like, it's chaos here, and I'm a one-man show. So I need your help. I need you. Take command of the gunnery turrets on the Star Destroyer's weapons console. We need to blast some asteroids. All right. So, let's see. So I want to kick things off too with what do we think we're going to get? What do we think we're going to get out of opening ceremonies? And I want to hear some predictions. I'm going to talk to you guys. Old Slimy, I won $1,000. Yeah, it doesn't work quite that well. Nice try. But I want to work on figuring out what we think we're going to get out of opening ceremonies. Let me know in the chat if you think we are going to be getting basically just a very vanilla opening ceremony where they kind of just say, hi, get ready for Ministravaganza. It's going to be a good time. We'll see you later. You know. Or do you think that they're actually going to drop any teasers? Do you think they're going to mention the big news with dropping Armada and X-Wing? I think it would be smart for them to do that. I don't think they will, but I think it would be smart for them to do that just to kind of address everything. So this way, when later today or tomorrow, when people start asking these questions, when people start saying, dude, why aren't you talking about these games? They can be like, well, refer to opening ceremonies. We addressed it then, you know. I think that would be That probably would be a little smart, but I don't think they're going to want to do that. Again, I don't know. I'm still curious what's going to happen with these game systems. There's an interesting thing where the X-Wing game system is licensed. The flight path system is licensed to WizKids for Star Trek Attack Wing and the Dungeons and Dragons Attack Wing game. It was originally licensed from Fantasy Flight, but then when Asmodee bought Fantasy Flight, that licensing, that the ownership of that went to Asmodee. So Asmodee licenses that system to them. So they still have to like the systems, the game engine's not dying. The game as a whole is going to go unsupported after Worlds. So it's this weird system of okay, it's going to go away, but you're still licensing the flight path system out to another company. So do you really want that system to just not be making you any more money why not just make another game or at least make a cardboard game? Do you know how many games, how many board games have cardboard components that they build terrains or dice towers or different things with, like thick cardboard with slots that kind of go into each other? Why not just do a flight game or another version of X-Wing or Armada with ships that are cardboard that fit together, and then boom, you have your Star Destroyer, and it's like maybe 5 or 6 pieces of cardboard. You have the big, top-down kind of piece, then you have the sideways piece, and then you have the bridge, and then the engines kind of stick in, and then boom, you've got your, and then you can swap that out with a miniature if you want to. That's what I would do. I would do a cardboard space game. This way, you have no pre-printed, pre-assembled plastic that you have to worry about. I think that would be golden. I think you'd be printing money at that point. But I'm gonna talk about that in another video. I have thoughts about those things. Still gonna cost $70 for a cardboard ISD? No. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even sell an ISD by itself. It would be like maybe 3 ISDs in one box. Especially if you wanted to cost that much, you'd have the 3 bases, and the cards and all that stuff. But your cardboard pack would be cheap. Or have squadron packs where it's like an ISD, an interdictor, and an Architans all in one pack. Imperial, command ship squadron pack 1 or something like that. That's what I would do. This way you take up less shelf space for retailers too, so they don't have to stock 100 different SKUs. They can just stock maybe 10, and then it's your core sets, your squadron pack 1, 2, and 3 for each faction, and then you got 14 ships out of those 3 packs. That's how I would do it. But hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. Let me talk to you. All right, so we're going to look over some of the comments. I do hear Legion 2.0. Estevan Delgado says Legion 2.0. A lot of other people say hashtag vanilla. Andrew, Jonathan, Otis, hashtag vanilla. Yeah, I think I see Andrews also says Legion 2.0. So I think that's coming. I don't know if they're gonna mention Legion 2.0 during the opening ceremony. I think they might though, because we do have a Legion stream later today. I know. I don't think it's actually going to be a full-blown Legion 2.0. I think one of the bigger things is they talked about in some of the descriptions for, I think, Saturday's stream, is it talks about new ways to play Legion. And I think that's really a big part of the key here is how much are these new ways to play versus the main way to play? Is it going to be more of an option, or is it going to be the main way to play? We're over at 100 viewers right now. Let's go ahead and announce a giveaway. I'm going to announce the winners for these giveaways at the end of the stream. So we're going to start off with, if you're an X-Wing fan, we've got an alternate art here, Soontir Fel. Very cool. Look at that. Beautiful. This was 2020. So we got a beautiful Soontir Fel Ace TIE Interceptor pilot. We're going to give this away to one lucky viewer. Just give me a hashtag Soontir Fel in the chat if you want to have a chance to win that. And we'll announce these after. Well, maybe I'll announce after that. If there's time in between opening ceremonies and the Shatterpoint stream, we'll announce the winner for that. And we're going to be doing lots more giveaways. I'm also going to drop. Let me see here. I'm going to drop something. We're going to do Discord and Patreon as well. So let's see, who is this? We've got a fire control system. Fire control system alternate art for X-Wing. It's not zooming in on it really because I forced my zoom level to not automatically change. This one will go up in Discord a little bit later. And then we've got, if you're a rebel and you like Y-Wings, we've got Horton Psalm here, which is going to go up on Patreon. Horton Psalm is going to go up on Patreon. So if you're a patron, you'll have extra shots to win giveaways. Yeah, so anyhow, that is, let's see, FCS, I'm writing this down so I don't forget what's going where. So there we go. All right, let's check. I'm going to check out some of the other predictions that we've got in chat. There's a lot. We got a lot of folks. Also, let me know where you guys are watching from. Love to see this. Jock says, could they go back to FFG? I did a whole video talking about how this was possible. FFG has some big news announced for in about 2 weeks at the start of Gen Con. They're going to be doing their in-flight report. And I thought there was a real possibility that these games could go back to FFG. I think now, in light of certain new things that I'm hearing, they're probably more likely to go to a different company and not to Fantasy Flight Games directly. It's still possible, still very much possible, but I don't. I think Fantasy Flight Games is wholly invested in Star Wars Unlimited. So if that weren't the case, I think we'd have a better shot. But I think Star Wars Unlimited is doing so incredibly well. Fantasy Flight Games is probably not going to want to rock the boat by taking on X-Wing and Armada and stuff like that again. So I think X-Wing and Armada could go elsewhere. And I think our live stuff is getting ready to start. It is getting ready to start. So we're gonna see what we can. What we can find. It's almost there. As soon as they start, I'm going to swap over, folks. I am going to swap over as soon as they begin. So that is that'll be a good thing, and we'll have a good time. They are. It says that they are live, but I don't think that they are actually pushing anything out yet. All right, we're getting ready. Moments away. Moments away. Okay, I'm going to swap over just so you guys can do a quick test. All right, look at that. Look at that. That's what we're going to see. I'll be turning my mic off. And so once they start, we'll swap over. We are all ready. It's exciting. It's exciting times. It's exciting times. And let's see. I'm going to check out here. Check out some of the other. Spell that soon to fill. Yes. Rising Ape says, did I miss anything? Not yet. Not yet. Yoda Taco says, careful. A new version hurt X-Wing more than it helped. Absolutely did. That's why I don't necessarily think they're going to completely change Legion. I think they're going to offer new ways to play Legion that kind of leave the original version mostly as is. I could see some slight tweaks, like maybe a points adjustments and things like that. And maybe the game goes up to 1,000 points. Maybe they change the structure of how many core you have to have and things like that. I could see some little tweaks, which would still be significant, but might not constitute a whole new game. But I do think they're going to offer some kind of big army game. Will Schick talked so much about how Legion was a really big army game and Shatterpoint was a really tiny, strike team game. And I didn't even ask him about that. He just kept throwing it into our interview. So much that it made me think that he was setting the stage for what was to come. Definitely think. All right. All right. So we're moments away. We're moments away. They are ready to start. Their stream is actually going right now. They're just in that whole starting soon mode. Now, when the opening ceremony ends, we're going to cut back to the watch party. We're going to talk about everything because usually there's a few minutes in between opening ceremonies and then that Shatterpoint roadmap So whatever they, we'll talk about whatever the information they do give us, and then we'll watch the Shatterpoint roadmap, and then we'll talk about whatever happens after that as well. And then we'll take a little break, and we'll be back for that Legion stream later today at 4:30, I want to say. It's a good time. It's a good time. Let's see. We've got your buddy saw Kylo Ren take his shirt off in the shower. That man was shredded. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny. I would love to get Matt, the radar technician. I wish AMG would do like April Fool's miniatures. It'd be really cool. I don't think they could get it approved through Lucasfilm, though. I heard that there's some very difficult things to get through Lucasfilm. Estevan says, hopefully new rules that allow squads like the Bad Batch so we can have all the Rebel crew. I want to see the Ghost crew show up. I definitely do. For Legion, at least. Ken, what's going on? Ken from Ion Radio is in the house. Everybody give a say hello to Ken, who is joining us to watch the stream and hanging out and chat. Always fun stuff, talking Armada and lots of other groovy games like Star Trek Into the Unknown. Have you guys seen that lately? That's a fun one. That's a fun one. I even have an alternate bridge set up for when I'm talking Star Trek. Look at this, right? Like the alternate bridge. We can have fun with that. I interviewed Jay Shalansky with the 5th Trooper last night, and I had him on the bridge of the Enterprise. That video will be going live on Tuesday, so we're talking about some cool new gaming tables and stuff that are coming out, so you guys can check that out on Tuesday. And we're gonna have some fun any moment now. Here we go.
Ministravaganza 2024.
Woo!
I am Simone Elliott.
Woo!
Wow, such energy this
You
one.
told me I had to hype
did tell
everything you said. That's what I
I
did.
meant,
This
no,
is
I
opening
said,
ceremonies.
I said
It's an
every panel.
energy thing.
I did not say every word I said.
My God.
But now you can hype yourself, Mr. Vice President of Creative Development and Strategy, Will Schick.
That's a title that I'm probably not going to get right at all this week. So
Look,
said
it's
it
on
once,
the screen. That's all that matters.
It is.
It's there.
It's fine.
So, friends, we are here for Ministravaganza.
Number 7. 7th Ministravaganza.
I know, we counted yesterday.
I counted. No one else can remember, but I remembered. We've done 7 of these. This is number 7. That's
Number
very exciting.
7.
Lucky number 7.
In 5 years of the studio.
Yeah, and we didn't even do one in the first year.
That is...
So.
Yeah, no. You are accurate. You are accurate
I know.
in this instance. Okay.
Most people didn't know we existed in our first year. We're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk so much about that.
For like an hour. But it's going to be fun. We're going to hang out. Of course, 5 years of the studio.
Yeah.
Big, huge deal for us. Big milestone. So Ministrav number 7. Gonna have some panels where we're going to look back as a studio, talk about the early times, talk about what we learned, talk about where we're excited to go in the future. So you want to get to know more people in the studio and kind of see how things have developed and progressed, and just hang out, ask some questions. We're going to be chatting with folks as well. That's
at the end of the day today, so they have a lot to look forward to
the
before then.
That's true. All right, I'm sorry.
You're going way out of order.
List.
There's a whole list.
Yeah, but we're just riffing. We're just riffing. We have more time than we could ever use for an opening ceremony.
So
we might as well
correct.
just use it.
Yeah.
Let's just use it.
So we're here. This is an opening ceremony. It's very ceremonial. Yeah, the woos happen. So after this, Will Schick and I will be sitting exactly in these same seats. We will not get up.
That's true.
And we will be joined by our people for the Star Wars Shatterpoint roadmap.
Yep, so if you're interested in what is coming next for the Star Wars Shatterpoint miniatures game, go ahead and be sure to stick around. We're going to be talking about and showing off kind of all of the things that we showed at the Adepticon roadmap. So for those who might not be aware of how our roadmap styling has gone, we've developed a cycle where effectively we have 2 roadmaps a year. One happens at Adepticon in March, one happens at Ministrav, typically around the summer. And then what we do is we show off everything for effectively the next 12 months, and we show it at various steps in the process. So if you saw a lot of the stuff from Adepticon 2024, You're going to wind up seeing cards and stats for a lot of those things. We're going to show off some painted versions and final miniature sculpts of the things that we showed that were in renders. Yes. And then we're going to start showing off renders of the things that are coming next. So all of the things that you don't know about yet.
That I can't wait for you to know about, because I'm very excited that I get to announce one of them.
There is a Simone special.
There's always.
There's always one, but the Simone special this year, it's very intense.
I will be intense about it.
Right at the end of the roadmap. So be sure to join us for that. It's going to be fun. We're going to take a look and give everybody an idea of what to expect coming up, and show off some cool rules for the things that everyone I know has been talking about since Adepticon. And then
one Dallas Kemp is going to be painting some Shatterpoint up from No Disintegrations.
Yeah, and a little spoiler for that, he's going to be painting the Bounty Hunters. So Boba Fett, Dengar, Bosk, and IG-88. We showed off, I believe, the miniatures and the painted versions of those at the Adepticon roadmap. So we're going to have some fun stuff in the roadmap for that, and he's going to follow right up, start showing you how to get paint on those so you can be excited for when they come out later this year.
And then we're going to take a little lunch break, because food is important. You want us to be high energy later.
We got to fuel up for this next one, because this next one,
it's a chunky boy.
If you can only make one for the entire week of Ministravaganza, you shouldn't. You should make them all. But if you can only make one, this next one today is probably the one to be there.
That would be at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. That would be the Legion War Table New Battle Orders.
So this one's a big one. We've been hyping it up and talking about it on a lot of the different things. If you play Legion or are interested in Legion at all, this is the one to be at. This is going to effectively show off a culmination of about 3 years of work that we've been putting effort into doing all this stuff. We have a lot of really cool things to show. That's going to really illustrate what the future of the game is, have a lot of exciting developments that, just like all the Ministravaganza panels that typically introduce new things, you're going to be able to play with and get your hands on right after the panel ends. So be sure to join us for that. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of cool things, and we have 90 minutes for that one. That's how much stuff. And when we did rehearsals yesterday, we didn't make 90 minutes. So that's how chock full this panel is going to be. We're going to do our best to try to cover everything, but just know there's a ton of stuff, and we can't wait to show you all the things and finally give you a peek behind the curtain at what we've been doing for the last 3 years.
3 years, yeah. And then, of course, we go back to one Dallas Kemp painting up some Marvel Crisis Protocol.
He's going to be painting some terrain. And Dark Future.
Oh, I'm supposed to be hyping now and surprised.
No, you don't. Do you?
I didn't know he was painting terrain.
He's painting terrain. So yeah, so he's painting some terrain from the Dark Future. And those who you probably piece it together. I'm not going to spoil exactly what he's doing, but yeah, check out that. It's going to be very cool. We're showing off some really neat terrain sets that are coming out.
And then we have a MCP War Table Survival of the Fittest.
Yes. So we revealed Apocalypse is finally coming to Marvel Crisis Protocol. Survival of the Fittest is 1 hour devoted to the man himself, Apocalypse. We're going to be diving in with Josh Colon, our art director, Ben, our lead developer. I think Will Pagani is going to join us as well. And we're just going to get right into the guts of what makes Apocalypse, go on the journey, talk about all the cool things revealed, pretty much everything about what you can expect from this amazing character. We're going to have some fun doing it.
And then Hobby Room. Dallas Kemp is going to be painting something. The first one. What could that possibly be?
What could it be?
What could it be?
Let me tell you right now, it's going to be Apocalypse. So Today for Marvel Crisis Protocol, it's all about Apocalypse. We're focused on the big bad of the Marvel Universe, one of the X-Men's fiercest foes. So we're going to take you through the whole process. We're going to talk about everything about Apocalypse. We're going to show you how to paint stuff. We're going to show you how to paint terrain. It's going to be great.
Awesome. And then finally, at 6:30 p.m., we're going to talk about the founding of the studio. Kind of a peek behind the curtain. Why were all of you not on social media for months? Like, what is that whole thing?
That's true. We're going to talk about how Simone Elliott took away our lives for almost a year.
I did, 100%.
And we're going to have some fun stories.
8 months. It was not a okay, you're fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna talk about the evolution of the studio, and effectively we're just gonna bring together the original 4 Atomic Mass Games members who formed the studio. We're gonna bring along Simone Elliott because, well, we formed the studio. She was definitely like in charge, pulling the strings behind the curtains, giving us a lot of support. So we assume, or we believe her to be one of the founders as well, even though she wasn't an Atomic Mass employee. She was an Asmodee tagged employee at the time.
And look where I am now.
And look where you are now. You were so much part of the process that now you're here, and we can't be more happy than to have you. But just come and hang out, chill, and get a little behind-the-scenes view on how life was, where some of the funny stories were, where some of the pain points were, how some things developed within the studio, and how we got to the place that we are now, and maybe get a view on what everybody thinks we're going to go next. It should be a fun time to just kind of come, chill, hang out, and ask questions.
Awesome. So, we're going to wrap it here. We will see you again.
No, we got 2 more days. We have to go through the whole event.
I meant, oh, you want to go through all of them?
Yeah, it's opening ceremonies.
Please hold.
I'm going to make this, you're trying to end it at 10 minutes. We're going to go
This is the
whole
longest
distance.
opening ceremonies we have ever done.
Exactly.
But now, let's talk about Friday. Here we are. I had forgotten there were other days. We're all here. It's fine. Okay. At 9 a.m. tomorrow, we're going to do the Legion Roadmap.
Yes, so this will be building off of today's big reveal. We're going to be showing off, of course, a lot of cool views of the things that are coming, going more in depth on some of the stuff we showed off at Adepticon, and then giving a view as to where we're stepping, like what today and all of the big information leads to going forward into the next 12 to 18 months for Legion. So this one's going to be a bit further of a view, and if you watch the first one today, you're definitely going to want to join for the roadmap, just to kind of get a holistic view of everything that we have planned and where Legion is going in the next several months, but honestly, the next 5 to 10 years, setting the stage for it. So we're very excited for that one, and we have some fun stuff as well.
And then we go to one Dallas Kemp once again, who is going to be painting up Imperial Enforcement. What could he possibly be painting?
What could it be? What could it be? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to spoil anything from
Oh, you're not going to spoil that much.
Do you want me to?
No.
He's going to be painting some riot control stormtroopers, all right? So there you go. Like, we had cutesy names to make people guess, but opening ceremonies, we're wild cards. We're just giving it all away.
Okay, well, at 12:30 tomorrow, we're going to do our 5-year retrospective on the visual design for Atomic Mass Games. That will cover kind of all of our art and visuals and stuff.
So we're gonna have Josh Colon there. We're gonna have Dallas Kemp there. I believe you're gonna be there.
Going to have a Marco as well.
We're gonna have a Marco Segovia there. We're just gonna talk about the evolution overall of, like, if you've played any of our games previously, if you've watched the kind of transition to multilingual, if you've seen the evolution of the art and everything else, we've done a lot of work. We're constantly trying to improve, and we're kind of shifting what we view as kind of the visual keys and cues of the studio as we continue to get better and learn lessons at our jobs, and to try to push these games all forward. We're going to be chatting all about that with the people who do it. Again, it's a forum where you can come in and ask some questions. We're going to tell some fun stories, and everything's going on. 5 minutes left. You're kidding me. Tony, the next one, it's fine. It's fine. We got more time. All right, let's burn through the rest of these.
War Table, creating team tactics.
I like how you're like, I can't go any faster.
I can't go. This is the fastest I can go.
If you want to learn about how and what goes into creating a team tactic card from Marvel Crisis Protocol, we're going to have the team there. We're going to go through the whole process, start to finish, and we're going to have some fun new information on team tactic card rotation and some other things, so be sure to join in for that if you are a Marvel Crisis Protocol player.
And then at 2:30 tomorrow, Dallas Kemp will be painting What Have We Here? We're going to let you figure out what that is. I think it's fairly obvious.
Perfect.
You're going to work that out. And then we do have a Shatterpoint Key Operations.
Yeah, this is another of the big, exciting ones that everyone who plays Star Wars Shatterpoint, if you're not a Legion player or you play Shatterpoint at all, you're going to want to show up for this one. We're going to be showing off some brand new game developments for Star Wars Shatterpoint. Again, just like all of them, by the time we're done talking, after we present everything to you, you're going to get those files available for you to print and download to be able to play right away. This is kind of the big next step for what's coming for Star Wars Shatterpoint, so don't miss it.
And Dallas will close out the day for us with Battle Colors Outer Rim Battles. It's a mystery. And then finally, on Saturday morning, we will start with our Marvel Crisis Protocol roadmap.
Same jam. You want to know all about the stuff that we showed off at Adepticon, want to see what's coming next, want to see the progress of the work of the things that we showed in process at the Adepticon roadmap. Show up, get an idea of what the next 12 months is. We've got some pretty big mic drops that are going on with that one as well. So if you happen to be, let's say, an X-Men fan, you might want to show up for it.
Okay, and then Dallas will be painting It's a Brand New Day. Who knows? It's a mystery. We're gonna he will let you know.
We should have named that one Let's Make a Deal, to be honest, but it's a brand new day.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have Star Wars Legion War Table Theaters of War.
So another really exciting event for Star Wars Legion. This one is going to explore a lot of the other game modes for Legion. So if you play skirmish, if you play special operations, if you're interested in new ways to approach the base game and throw in some additional fun narrative rules, this is going to be all about that. It's all about expansion opportunities and things that go a little bit outside the lines for Star Wars Legion. Again, we're going to be dropping a lot of content that you're going to be able to take and download right away and start playing.
And then Dallas will be painting up some Mandalore.
Mandalore!
And then at 3 p.m. we'll do a 5-year development retrospective. That's it. That's what it is.
Another round table. We're going to bring in the developers. We're going to have a whole smattering of folks from across the studio. We're going to talk about where we started, how our process has evolved, how our thoughts about things have evolved, how the different events around the studio, from bringing in the Star Wars games to bringing in different ideas from the community, watching these games grow and evolve, how all of that has impacted what we're doing. It's really fun. If you're interested in game design and development at all, it's probably going to be a great one because we're going to be taking some questions from chat as well, and just hanging out, talking about process and philosophy.
Yeah. And then finally, Dallas will be painting some undercover agents from Star Wars Legion. And then to close out the whole thing, we're going to do a closing ceremony. I'm just going to read this all in reverse.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm ready to go. We're going to do a retrospective on the 3 days of the things we did, and we're going to grade it on a scale of pastrami to Reuben.
Wow. Okay.
How complete of a sandwich was it?
The most complete. I think we should end this before Tony throws up another sign to say we should wrap up.
He hasn't put up the stop sign yet.
That is true.
I kind of want to see the big red stop sign.
Oh, wait.
He's bringing it out.
He's bringing it out now. We do have to bring more people in here. Okay. We'll see you all in like 15 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Welcome to Ministravaganza number 7.
Woo!
All right, so we got some things to talk about. Legion confirmed to be getting very, very big news. They said over 3 years of work going in to what we're going to see. Now, this sounds like a new edition, but it may not be. First off, they don't like the term edition. They'll make new editions without calling them new editions. So whatever you want to, however it's framed, we will have to be the judge of whether or not it's actually a new edition. We also have the winner of the latest giveaway for the Soontir Fell X-Wing promo. And that is going to be Jock Cup. Congratulations, Jock Cup. You won the Soontir Fell promo. Go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. Don't forget to let me know what it was that you won. Otherwise, you may just get whatever it is. I feel like sending you. So Legion's 3-year in development, big shakeup. They said the event today is going to be a 90-minute stream. It's going to be their biggest stream of the whole thing. And if you can only make one stream for the entire weekend, that's the one. That's the one. Which to me is that's the big news. That is the big news. Dude. Massive. So later on, when they were talking about the other streams that are going to be coming, they said there's going to be that one on Saturday that deals with alternate ways to play the game. Talking about skirmish, talking about spec ops. I don't really play those very much. But they said narrative rules, or other ways, like narrative rules. That makes me think, what if tomorrow, or what if later today, the Legion stream is a narrative campaign for Legion, and they're going to sell like a big box, or they have some PDF. He said you can start playing it right away, or you'll be able to, there'll be materials. So whatever it is going to involve a PDF that you can download. So it could be both. My guess is... Here's what I'm going to predict. I'm going to make a prediction right now. That it's effectively a rules update and largely a points and force organization update. And the reason basically, I think the game is going to go from 800 points up to 1,000 points or 1,200 points or 1,600 points or something big. But because that's such a big undertaking, they'll introduce a campaign system to start smaller and build your way up to that army. So you don't, it's like an escalation league, how X-Wing and Armada used to do stuff like that. I think they're going to do something like that to get people acclimatized to the new normal for Star Wars Legion. Bigger points. And the reason I think they're going to do that is they're doing a all new hard plastic for Star Wars Legion. And this way they'll say, hey, oh, by the way, don't feel bad if you can't afford a 2,000 point army or whatever it's going to be. You know, not 2,000, probably 1,000 or maybe 12 or 1,600 or something like that. I think they'll say, don't feel bad if you can't play, don't have enough for that, because you can still play Skirmish or Spec Ops. There's cheap options, but full Legion is the big army, and here's a campaign system to take your small, start with Spec Ops, that's just one squad, work your way up into Skirmish, which is like maybe 3 or 4 squads, and then go through the campaign and end up at a 1,600 point Grand Army. I think that's what they're trying to do. I'm guessing that it's going to be like that. And here's the biggest thing I can say to enforce that opinion, beyond just the fact that this has been 3 years worth of work or what have you, so a major initiative. They have made very clear they're redoing all of Legion in hard plastic, including the stuff in the core sets, including Darth Vader and Stormtroopers, including General Grievous, which means a new Clone Wars core set, presumably. But specifically, we know like there's new Stormtroopers coming and Rebel Troopers and all those basic core options that were done in soft plastic are all being redone. And they're also very much aware that a lot of players already have what they need, and they don't want to have a problem with stores ordering product that just sits there dead on the shelf. So in order for them to make this whole initiative work, they have to get you, the customer, who already plays Empire, to buy more Stormtroopers. Not just one box, but a lot of Stormtroopers. And the only way I see them doing that, I mean, new sculpts is cool. I would definitely buy one new box of Stormtroopers for new sculpts. But I don't think everybody's going to throw their existing plastic away and completely replace it with all new plastic. But if suddenly I go from a game like Star Wars Legion that I can at max run, 3 to 6 Stormtroopers, and now all of a sudden the points are increased such that now I need 7 to 10 Stormtroopers or something like that. Higher points, higher task force organization charts and things like that. Now all of a sudden I've got a heavy incentive to buy multiple new Stormtrooper boxes with this reprint that they have coming. They need me to say I need to buy more and more. But they also want to limit the outrage for people doing that, so that's why they're going to have the campaign system. They'll probably keep 800 points as a valid format for the first year, building up to it, and they'll use the campaign as a vehicle to get you there. That is my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to take it to the chat. We'll see what some other folks think. Operative Grievous and Kenobi would be cool. Ben Nichols, or with the alternate Grievous sculpt, that would be pretty cool. If we had an operative version of Grievous. And so if that new sculpt ended up not being a new core set, but just ended up being a different version of Grievous, the problem I have with that is we never see Grievous working as an operative. We always see him as a general, as a leader. I just don't see him doing that. And maybe it's happened in a book somewhere or something like that, but I feel like they'd have a hard time getting that done. Jock Cop, I see your thing says emailed you. Thank you, sir. We'll get to that later. It may be a few days, but I will get to it. It's in the queue. It's not going to get lost. Webway Hobbies says, I personally like 800 points just for the time it takes to play. That is a brilliant point. I think you're very much correct on that. Time to play is very important. And so if you increase the points, how do you deal with the time? If we go up to 1,000 points, 1,200 points, 1,600 points for Grand Army, or dare I say 2,000 points, any of these options would naturally involve an increase in setup, increase in army building, increase in the time it takes to play, because you have way more units to deal with. So how do you do that? I have thoughts. There's a lot of different ways that they could do that. I would hope that at the end of the day, there's a rules simplification that speeds up gameplay. That just says, oh, you're shooting these guys? Okay, boom, like roll. We don't have to check line of sight. We don't have to check stuff. Things are... They've been trying to simplify stuff, and I will admit, part of the beauty of Star Wars Legion was always like, no, half of this unit is behind that barricade, so we're going to get heavy cover for this attack. All right, you're rolling, you've got, and there's a lot of like little rules interactions. Okay, well, you have sharpshooter, so that's going to reduce my cover by 1. So I'm actually rolling, I'm canceling this, we're canceling that die. I'm going to actually spend a dodge token, so now I get surge to block. So, and all of these other things. So, an attack can take a long time depending if it's the right unit attacking another unit. I hope they don't take the easy route and just say, oh, okay, there's no more modifiers, it's just straight rolls, boom. You just, I'm attacking you, I roll dice, you roll dice, done. Nothing else to consider. That would speed the game up, but I feel like that would simplify the game way too much. And that would only work, in my opinion, if we're transitioning to a massive 2,000-point game format as an option, as a fun option, not as the standard game. I'm fine with having a fun new option on the side because people can take it or leave it. For me personally, I'm not interested in Spec Ops, and that's fine because I can leave it, and if you like it, you can play it, right? I don't like Spec Ops because it's very small, which isn't terrible, but it's small, but it leaves out the Jedi, and I would like to have like a Jedi going up against another Jedi with, or it also leaves out the tanks and the things that I think are coolest. So I set Spec Ops to the side. I don't mess with it. And if they do a big 2,000-point thing, some people can say, hey, that looks like a fun way to get like 100 models on the table and go. Fun. But you would probably have to simplify combat a little bit for that rule set. And some people could say, hey, I'll take it or leave it. I hope that that's something that they're doing because that would be good for the competitive scene because it wouldn't rock the boat too much. I imagine there'll be some rules streamlines that go into it also, but that would be they've got to deal with the time, the time increase if they're going to do that. That's really interesting. The Legion Bros says, if they do a new version, thoughts on a new version dividing the player base again? That's always a fear. I'll give you some thoughts. I hadn't planned for this question as much, but we've seen it with X-Wing. I think I'm going to cite some recent examples from Warhammer. Warhammer does new versions all the time. Age of Sigmar 4th edition, Skaven Tide box just came out last weekend. I picked that up. I played my first game this week of the new Spearhead format, which was really cool. It's a good way to ease into 4th edition rules. Here's a cool thing about the way GW seems to do new editions so far. Although I haven't been playing like Age of Sigmar as often. I don't play 40K really at all. I have a few models, but I've never played. But I play Age of Sigmar a decent amount. I love the way they do new editions because they give you all the rules for free. Everything that they've done for the new edition has been a free download. People always say, oh, but GW makes you buy the books. I don't have to buy the books. I don't have to buy any of it. It's all free. In the past, they have done things that make you buy the books, but it's also, people always put it right online, so you can always just get the stuff. Like the new Ionis Cryptborn Dragon came out, and he had like $100 book to get the rules and stuff. I'm like, oh man, that's crazy, but I don't have to buy the book. I can just wait for somebody to, I just need like 1 page of information from the book. I just need the rules, and it's literally like half a page, and no problem, got it. I've got it. It was posted online very quickly. GW has done that. Free until the codex drops. But I mean, you right-click, save target as, right? You save the PDFs. When the codex drops, you still have those PDFs. And so the other thing is too, if you play just one army in GW, they don't put out new stuff very often. So it's not like a game like Shatterpoint where there's new expansions that you kind of have to buy all the time. If I play the Sons of Bahamut, it was a giant army. They're big giants, right? I may not see another model for that for years. So buying a new codex once every 3 or 4 years, it's really not that big of a deal. It's like one purchase to support your army and to support the game company every 4 years, as opposed to new product constantly coming out for your army. So, I view it that way. So I think, the way that they're keeping their games supported is good, and it works. It works for some people, but not for everybody. And it's harder, I guess, if you're a completionist and you want to have everything. But if you just play one army, I think I think the cost is very, very reasonable. Now, if they do something like X-Wing 2.0 and divide the player base, that's awful. if they do a controversial rules update, that's going to be awful. We've got about 2 minutes until the Shatterpoint stream starts. 2, by the way. We're going to do another giveaway. This one's going to be for Lone Wolf promo for Star Wars X-Wing. So give me a hashtag Lone Wolf in the stream. We still have, we're going to have Discord stuff going up as well. Up next is the Star Wars Shatterpoint roadmap. We're going to be swapping over to that very, very soon. But yes. Dude, I don't think they'll do the whole X-Wing 2.0 or 2.5. 2.0 did a lot of damage. I think 2.5 did even more. I feel like Andrew Dursum is one of the better developers at AMG, and I feel like he has, when I've heard him talk about the game, I feel like he's got a deep and very serious understanding of the game, and it gives me confidence. I at least half confidence, because again, after the X-Wing and Armada news, it's like your confidence in AMG is at an all-time low right now. If you're like me, but at least for their Legion department, I feel like they have a really good team on board, at least some really good team members, and I think that it has a good chance of successful. So I will hear them out. I will give it an honest thing, but yeah. Ken says, here we go, Legion 2.0 that allows Crabbok and I to play Legion with our models on separate tables thousands of miles away. That is called TTS. It's hard to talk about TTS because a lot of Asmodee, a lot of licensed stuff, desperately don't want you to ever mention Tabletop Simulator. I will say this, though. Right around after the merger, I was still doing playtesting. For some company that might or may not be under the Asmodee umbrella. And yeah, they do playtesting via TTS. I'm not saying which company this is, but yeah, playtesting very much still happens on TTS, even though we're not allowed to talk about TTS. And TTS is, we can't ever talk about that. I'm like, yeah, but y'all actively use it and then tell us not to. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I understand why, because it's a licensing thing. I understand why, but it's also absurd. I can still point at the elephant in the room and say this is absurd, even though I understand why it is the way it is. It is absurd. So, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, TTS is weird though. I don't generally like it. I like to play my games in person, and I suffer the penalty for that because it means I get less games in. I want to play Star Wars Unlimited more. There's multiple digital versions. Here we go.
It is the Star Wars Shatterpoint roadmap. Don't look at me like that. I'm here.
Barely started. Barely started.
I am introducing one Wilshick.
Woo!
Woo. We got a Marco Segovia. We got a Michael Plummer. Hello, friends.
Hey, gang.
Are we ready to talk about Star Wars Shatterpoint and what's coming up for people?
Yeah, let's do it.
Heck yeah.
I mean, what else would we be here for?
It could be anything based on all of the different panels that we have over the week. But today, right now, this moment, Star Wars Shatterpoint roadmap.
Let's do it.
So for those who missed our incredible opening ceremonies, the best...
I was going to say the
best opening ceremonies of Ministrav over the 7 historic Ministravs that we have held. In the Shatterpoint roadmap, we're going to be taking a look at the next 12 months, effectively, of releases, what's coming up for the game. We're going to be diving into some releases coming up at the end of this year in terms of their rules, their cards, all of that stuff. We're going to be taking a look at some finalized and painted miniatures that we showed off as renders at the Adepticon roadmap. We're going to be showing off some brand new renders and unexpected things that are going to be coming up later next year, and we'll get more into as we get into the Adepticon roadmap. So it's very much just a rolling thing. We continue to do this twice a year. There's always new stuff, and we have Marco here to talk about some of the sculpting stories behind things. We have our lead developer, Michael Plummer, to talk about the rules and the design. And then Simone and I are here for the color commentary. We're the peanut gallery, if you will.
We are. And at the end, there will be a slide that has release dates and everything, so you can be sure to check that out at the end.
We'll be sure to give you a timeline so you can snapshot that. And then whenever somebody's like, when is this thing? You'll have an approximate release expectation for when it's going to come out. Last thing before we dive in, do remember that tomorrow, we're going to have a really big Shatterpoint key operations panel. You're going to want to check that out if you're interested in the future of the game. That's going to be some immediate brand new game content for you to check out and see where the game is going next. Plummer and I are going to be on that. We're very excited to be revealing to y'all what we've been working on for the last 9-10 months.
Yeah, it's going to be rad.
All right, with that, let's get into the good stuff and begin this road trip on the road map. Tony, slide. All right, so we showed off at Adepticon in March the upcoming pack, the Bad Guy Crosshairs, when he breaks out from the Bad Batch. We had a lot of people ask when the original Bad Batch were showing off, hey, why isn't he in Galactic Empire? What's going on with that? We talk about a lot. We love doing characters as snapshots in time. And obviously, Crosshair's defecting effectively away from his brothers, joining the Galactic Empire, leading the elite squad, was such a huge character moment that we felt we had to do this. Not only does it give the Bad Batch a great kind of antagonist where you can play out the narrative and stuff like that, also Crosshair's, I mean, let's be honest, he was just one of the best characters from the Bad Batch. And that was cemented definitely in the great Season 3 arc that he had. And so, good soldiers follow orders. You now have a primary Galactic Empire version of Crosshairs. Michael Plummer, walk us through a little bit of this.
Yeah, I mean, well, you keep talking about this Crosshair guy, but this is the Imperial.
Oh, excuse me. I'm humanizing him too much.
Yes.
CT-9904, the leader of an elite squad. This guy's a lot of fun. He's got 2 force, so pretty low force value, but his identity does allow him to refresh 2 whenever he wounds someone. The other half of the identity helps him to really pick off people that you've kind of left weak if they have conditions on them before you roll your dice. You can remove those conditions to just straight up add strikes to your attack roll. So if you're going into someone that you've already hit and you know you need to take them out to get those 2 force, it's really easy to set yourself up for that. Along with Expendable Distraction, which you may know from Aura Singh, he can also add some extra dice to his rolls there. But probably the coolest thing on his card, in my book, is Reflector Discs. This guy's a threat from just about anywhere. You can choose another miniature that's in your squad, and you can draw your line of sight for your attack from that miniature, doing that cool thing that he did where you throw up the disc in there and you shoot it.
It was definitely
very cool.
definitely one of those like perfect moments where we started the design work on this character, and we had just seen, you know, from LFL the reveal of that like episode with Cody and like how that stuff worked, and it was like, oh, we got to put this into the character.
How do we make that
this
work?
Is so cool. And so we wrote that right into the design, and it was great. One of either Marco or Simone is going to tell us about the sculptor behind this squad and the painter. Oh.
Marco knows them all.
Yeah, Marco, what was it?
This one was David Ferreira, who worked on his Crosshairs, and I mean, this is also, like you guys said, pretty memorable.
Did he do the whole squad?
He did the whole squad, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
With some additional help from our department.
Yeah, sure.
And then the art was done by Marco Falia.
Yeah, and I mean, I always get really impressed when you take something that's like, what color is it? Black. Other colors are black. And then you make something that's like, and then these artists can come up and just make something that looks really good, despite the fact that it's all black. Let's jump to the next character in the pack we're going to take a look at. This is my favorite. I love Crosshair, but this is my favorite design we did from the box because it was such a challenge to say, what does a flamethrower do in Shatterpoint? And I was so excited. I talked a little bit about this at the roadmap when we revealed the squad in the first place. But I definitely enjoyed watching the dev department and Michael Plummer and William Rutan try to figure out how in the heck they were going to take this crazy design and make it functional.
Yeah, it was definitely an adventure, like trying to make a flamethrower that affects a wide area. You know, it shoots out a big gout of flame. In a miniatures game where we don't use, you know, templates and we don't have other things that you put on the table that represent like a wall of flame or anything like that. So we had to get really creative, and I think it came out really well. I'm really excited about it. I think Prescribed Fire is very, very cool. Just really neat objective control piece. Obscuring Flames is just a very simple way to add out some hunkers and keep your survivability up. But really, I think the keystone on ESO4 is Can't Stand the Heat. Just really, really protects this miniature from those melee attacks, those strong units running in to
amazing
come and take a
anti-Jedi
swing.
tech. Like, even Darth Vader will pause for a second before charging a flamethrower.
No one wants to get disarmed and strained just because they ended next to you. It's brutal and very, very effective control piece to just say, I'm going to be here and you need to figure out how to deal with it.
And Control was definitely, you know, thinking about what do flamethrowers do, right? In most miniatures war games, they're very offensive. They can hit a lot of targets and things. We kind of leaned into the idea that Shatterpoint's a lot about objective control. It's about board positioning and all of that. And so that was really where we played into with the flamethrower. Okay, running into a flamethrower is scary. A flamethrower makes it hard to see things. A flamethrower can do all these different like control elements, right?
A flamethrower is very hot.
It's very hot. It's very hot, yes. And
Do they wear
then
special gloves?
No, it's just it's just
man.
normal old armor.
Yeah.
And then Marco, I know that making this flamethrower weapon was one of your favorite things you've ever done.
We have to get a little creative with it because the reference was minimal. When it does appear, it's in very few shots, and then to make matters worse, like you guys pointed out, and as we can see, these characters are all black, painted black. So in the scene,
Operating at night.
yeah. So in the reference, it's all dark. So we had to take some liberties and try to cross-reference what we've seen in others, and just make sure that we could get something that's really cohesive.
Worked very close with LFL to kind of take the things that you guys pulled out and then say, okay, does this look right?
And then
be
they go,
yeah,
yep.
we kind of like this or tweak this here. But I did not expect that making a flamethrower would be quite the puzzle for you all in the engineering department, but you pulled it off fantastically. And then, of course, the rest of the elite squad troopers are going to come out of the supporting. We're going to save those for a future article because we don't want to spoil everything that marketing that gets to show off later on. But these guys definitely bring some very cool tools to the Galactic Empire. I'm excited to see how players run into them. Moving on to the next one, I think this is another one that people can't wait for. This is the Way Squad Pack. So we jump into the New Republic era with Mr. Paz Vizsla. We're going to be looking at Paz, and we're also going to look at the covert Mandalorians. We're going to save the Armorer, who is the primary unit from that squad, for a future article. But Paz, Pagani right now is probably like dancing in his shoes because he was so excited for this character. Rightfully so. Amazing character. Amazing sculpt. Like I think you guys just knocked this one out of the park. I think this had one of the fewest camera visions that we had outside of make him slightly bigger.
Yeah, Dave Kidd did a great job with this one. I mean, the whole squad, honestly.
He just looks so fantastic, so amazing. And then, as people are noting, right, he has a double-sided stance card. We talked about Crosshair being a snapshot. There's a couple different crosshairs, obviously, in different iterations. With Paz, we knew we'd only get one.
Yep.
He has an amazing arc. By the end of season 3 of The Mandalorian, we knew it was coming, and we really wanted to hone in on kind of like Paz's moment. So this is the Paz that I think is ingrained in everyone's mind.
Yeah. I'm getting tingles thinking about it.
He holds the line. He drops the heavy firepower. He pulls out the knife. He becomes fearless, and then he guards the rear to the very end. So talk us through a little bit about this character, Palmer.
Yeah, so this is Paz Vizsla. He is he's a support in a really interesting, not like a supporting unit, but he's a secondary unit. He's a very support-focused unit. He can do some damage, but in an interesting way, in that he doesn't die. He stands on a point, and you beat him down, and then he says, "No, this is my point," and he stays there, which is exactly what you'd expect Paz Vizsla to do. And also, if you attack his friends, he is going to get in your way if he's close to them. So I'll cover the rear allows him to move and make an attack, after an ally is attacked, and then he can be on the point and be wounded himself and stay there. When he activates, Mandalorians all around him are able to remove damage and conditions, and then Mandalorian supporting units all get to jump. So he is very much a linchpin centerpiece that you want to build your strategy around, with Paz standing in a very strong central point, or somewhere that you really want to make sure is taken care of, and then make the enemy come to you and deal with him multiple times, or else he's going to just stand there and do what he does.
Yeah. And for the art, Chris Bjors does a lot of our art. I really love for this one how much he fills his order card and takes up so much of this space.
He fills the template, yes.
Yeah.
He's a big strapping man.
He does.
Mandalorian man. All right, so let's jump to the covert Mandalorians. Another fun design that we got to work on. So the covert Mandalorians, the idea that these are kind of foundlings and they're remnants of the different Mandalorian clans and all of this. So what we did was pretty clever. I think we took kind of what we've seen from the other Mandalorian units, Clan Kryze and the Super Commandos, and effectively gave them the ability to pick and choose from either of those martial disciplines.
Yep.
And so this one I think was really fun. Obviously, Paz Vizsla, amazing sculpt, but the one that took everyone by storm was Mr. Jet rocket shooting Pac-Man, because I know when Dallas did the concept, he handed it over to your team, Marco, and you guys were like, "No, this is not going to work." And then everyone else looked at it and they were like, "This seems questionable," but yeah, you pulled it off. Your team did amazing.
Thank you. No, Dallas and I in our department, we toss around like rules for miniature making and like how to make miniatures pose and stand accordingly to tabletop gaming. And so this one kind of breaks a little bit of our cardinal rules, but honestly, rules are meant to be broken. Learn the rules and you can then break them when you can, and then you can do something really cool and interesting and different. And we want to do something different with these minis. Wanted to do some. We have quite a few Mandalorians at this point in Shatterpoint, and so we wanted to create a cool effect and actually use the backpack blaster. A lot of them have this cool rocket, and we never actually get to try something like this. So we got to do it with the covert, and I think it ended up being really effective and looks really cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of the rules, these are very scrappy, very versatile fighters. You're going to notice a lot of things that are very familiar if you play a lot of the Mandalorian units. They have jetpack. They have Mandalorians are stronger together, which are kind of like the DNA of a Mandalorian unit. And then the Mandalorian armaments here allows them to choose to either have sharpshooter or impact 1, depending on whether you're going to need them to do ranged attacks or melee attacks during their activation. And then this is the way ability, because I think we've mentioned before that we fit this is the way onto every unit card in this box. But theirs is our secrecy is our survival. This is the way. So while there are order cards in the order deck or it's in reserve, this unit cannot be, or they have protection. Excuse me. It's not like the other ones, but it does, that would be crazy. But it's this.
It actually was that for a while.
I know. Little version fatigue.
Yeah. We go through multiple different options here. So this is the way squad pack going to be coming out later this year, and of course we're going to be showing off the armor and what she brings to the squad. Needless to say, her identity, insanely powerful for Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's a thing.
So good.
Yeah.
But we'll go to that. The only other, I guess, little like teaser for her is that we had a lot of fun making her stance cards.
Yeah, we did.
And if you look at the way the charts go and you can see the pictures that are there, kudos to you. We did our jobs well.
We did it.
But it tickles us to no end. Okay, let's jump out of the New Republic and go back into the Galactic Civil War area with the We Don't Need Their Scum character pack. For those who missed the explanation during the roadmap, we're going to be doing the character packs are effectively not fully built squad packs. So normally when you pick up a squad pack for Star Wars Shatterpoint, like a This Is the Way pack, it's all balanced within itself, so you can just play with the contents, add another squad, you have your full strike team. Character packs are different in that they are not playable directly out of the box. They simply provide an assortment of characters that you can mix into your squads. So in the We Don't Need Their Scum pack, all of the bounty hunters that are represented, of which we're going to look at 2 here, which is Boba Fett and Dengar. The other 2 are Bosk and IG-88. If you want to take a look at those miniatures, Dallas is going to be painting them right after this. So he's going to have the full contents of this pack on his painting table in his stream that's coming up. They're all secondary characters. So all these characters are secondaries. They can swap in and out, and they all bring different things to the table on their bounty hunter expertise. So I know let's get the smelly head wraps out of the way.
Look, canonically smelly, open festering wounds. Dengar is wrapping them up. Look, I have to talk about it in every Ministravaganza. It's almost a tradition.
It's true.
That's true. So for the art for these, we had Ludwig Moliere do these. I love the grumpy expression on Dengar. We have a little kind of different style than we usually see him. And one of the fun things we did learn is that is an Imperial officer chest plate.
Yeah.
So, everyone scavenged their stuff from other places. It's all cool.
How the bounty hunters roll. But yeah, this was also done by Brian Pierce, who, when he started here as a digital engineer, we worked with him on this as his first project. And so he did this one from the ground up, and we had a lot of fun doing some design with the little monkey lizard you can see down there. And yeah, it was a fun project. And then Mike Jones did this awesome Boba Fett, and obviously, you can't go wrong with Boba Fett.
You cannot.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing this one on the dev team too. Every one of us took one of the characters to kind of start on the initial design of, so that we could just make these iconic, awesome bounty hunters. And so here you see Boba Fett. So he's very much, he hunts down primary units, moves towards them, doesn't let them get any kind of breath. He also has his knee rockets, allow him to throw out a little bit of damage on a couple of units. His whipcord launcher can shut down a unit. And then he's got hired hand, which is something that you've seen a little bit lately on other characters, but he's able to choose which tags he has at the start of the game. So he can either be a Galactic Empire unit or he can be a Scoundrel unit, depending on how you want to play him and how you want to fit him into your list building. And then on the right here, we've got Dengar the Demolisher. This guy is a melee beast. beast. We haven't seen the stance card, but this guy can hit like a freight train. He's got on the trail, so he can move towards enemies. Payday is very like stock standard bounty hunter fare. His explosive regards gives you a little surprise if you take him down. He's able to maybe take you with him, which is great. And then I think being underestimated has its values is wonderful. Just having this guy in your squad, all your bounty hunters reserve for one less force. So just lets you be a little more versatile in what you're doing on the table and select your options a little more freely and say like, I don't want to activate with this unit right now. I'm going to wait.
One of the really fun things that I think people don't necessarily think of right away, because Shatterpoint has that different list building system, is the fact that Scoundrel Tag pairs really well with like Han Solo, Chewbacca, these other characters. So you can make these really neat kind of rebel-centric or smuggler-themed lists that utilize these characters. And Payday is a great way to kind of like bring that in if you need the Rebel Alliance tag or things like that. But you can definitely kind of see what would have happened if Boba Fett had been hired by Princess Leia and how those things would go and play out those different stories. And a lot of the stuff in here, because they kind of have those Payday abilities, like all of them have different ways to integrate in. They're not really restricted to just being bad guys, right? You can put them into these different kind of places. We're going to talk about one place that they work very well with at the end, but we're not quite there yet. Staying with our Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back kind of theme for the rest of the year, we're going to jump into Galactic Empire, and we're going to take a look at where Dengar got his chestplate. General Veers and the Snowtrooper Lieutenant from the Maximum Firepower Squad Pack. So a very different style of character coming for Galactic Empire. A little bit, if Thrawn is kind of the midpoint between a Vader and a Veers, right? Like tactician versus like beat 'em up. You know, Vader, he just wants to hit you with his lightsaber.
Veers would rather not.
Thrawn can punch with the best of them. He's got that Chris martial arts kind of style to him, but very much more a tactician. Now you have Veers, who's complete support.
Yeah, and like Veers can shoot his rifle. Veers can punch a rebel in the face. Like, he's capable of those things, but it's not his strongest suit. It's not his forte. Veers is very much focused on stormtroopers and stormtrooper support, moving them around the table, setting up before the battle even starts, and preparing for surface attack. And of course, he's about massive bombardments from AT-ATs, which is shown in his identity, which allows you to choose enemy objectives, move your own units around, and then deal damage to everyone that's there with impunity, even your own, because there's some losses are always acceptable. He of course comes
They're
with
unavoidable, sir. It just has to
unavoidable.
happen.
It's true. It's true. And then we've got the Snowtrooper Lieutenant on the right here. This guy is very fun. We wanted to make sure he was a little bit different from the Stormtrooper Lieutenant. So he is a little bit stronger actual support. So commanding presence, I think, is the real winner here. When an allied Galactic Empire trooper character within 3 would gain a condition, they can suffer a damage instead. So it just saves you the effort of having to waste that move to get rid of that pin. They can just take a damage instead. As you said, some losses are unavoidable. They're a really, really interesting squad to play, a lot of fun, and Veers just brings a whole new level of board manipulation and control to Galactic Empire that they don't have right now.
It was really satisfying to see how well he pairs with Vader, because that's kind of, you always want those iconic narrative moments, right? And so having a Veers that can work exceptionally well or partner with Vader or any of the other characters, right? Depending on how you want to play, was very fun. I was super thrilled to have the AT-AT like barrage from off the table.
Yeah.
Come into play in the way that it works in his stuff. And I believe we have, I don't know if there's, I mean, the only thing that, well, the helmet, obviously, I think if Paz had the least amount of cams, Veers might have had the most amount of cams based on how big his helmet needed to be.
Yeah, and I mean, we got some great reference from that helmet too, so we got to see every little detail of that.
It is much larger than you think it
Yeah,
is. And then
it
when
really
you
is.
think you've adjusted it, it is
You gotta
still
go
yet
wider.
larger.
Yeah, I think the note every week was just
It was bigger.
Just a little
bigger.
bit.
Bigger.
Just a
Just
little
keep
bit.
going.
You gotta widen it out.
Still
It
more.
is. You don't really notice it on screen, but it is redonkulously like large.
It's got a lot of space in there, you know? Cool.
All right, and then to round out the rest of the year and our Empire Strikes Back kind of releases, we have a Simone Elliott special. What have we here? Lando Calrissian with his fabulous cape.
Look at that cape.
So, you know, right off the bat, we have Lando, Lobot, who we're going to look at here. They also come with the sporting unit, the Wingguard.
Yeah.
This was a really interesting box design because on the one hand, you have Lando, who's all about gambling and risks and like taking these weird chances, and we went through a lot of iterations.
So many iterations.
Where we were doing like these weird side sabacc games that you could do as part of his abilities, and all this other stuff. And we kind of dialed it into something that was reasonable, but we really wanted to play with that gambler aspect. And then Lobot and the Wingguard was very much like, what does a security detail force look like? How do you make them feel like a police force? And that came down to a lot of objective control and locking down objectives, and how do they detain people and all this stuff. I was really thrilled with where that all kind of shook out with everything.
Yeah, this squad is just so fun and interesting. I mean, you look at Lobot and you look at the Wingguard, and it's very clear what they want to do. They're very straightforward. Lobot has some very obviously powerful abilities: lockdown, battlefield calculations, detain. Like everything on his card is just amazing. And then you look at Lando's card, and you kind of tilt your head and go, "He does what now?" And I think that's what's really interesting about Lando's playstyle is that Lando excels at putting himself in a very, very, very bad situation and then exploiting a scoundrel buddy and putting them in a bad situation to get himself out of it. Pretty much every couple turns, it's going to happen. His tactic is interesting because it can affect both allied scoundrels.
I think it's the first tactic that affects enemies as well.
It can affect enemies. That's correct. So he can choose an ally.
You're not going to say no when he calls you in for that hug.
No, how you doing, you old pirate? And if it's a friend, this is a friendly hello. But if you're not a friend, he's definitely going to stick you with something. He can take the conditions off of himself and give them to you, which is something that you never want to have happen to you. But it is very fun. Hedged Bets rewards you for having force left over when it's time to refresh your order deck. It allows you to remove conditions from your allied units. And then, of course, Sabacc Shift is kind of the wild Sabacc mechanic that you were just talking about. So once per turn, when you reveal his order card, he can gain a condition he doesn't have. If you do, you gain some force back. You get to shuffle your order deck and draw a new card. The ace up his sleeve is always himself. And then his identity is the thing, again, we've been talking about. He can choose to be Galactic Empire, or he can choose to be Rebel Alliance at the start of the game. But then there's a little cherry on top with this, which is that each time you reveal an order card, you can choose an allied scoundrel unit, and they get to choose to gain a tag that he has. So this is how you can make any scoundrel Galactic Empire, any scoundrel Rebel Alliance for that turn, and make it just like truly bombastic and awesome. Like he's always playing both sides. It's a lot of fun.
And he has a lot of swagger there.
Yeah, he does.
He does. That pose and that cape flare, perfection.
The sculpting team and the engineering team did an amazing job, like capturing that likeness of Lando and his swagger.
Yeah,
plus,
the contrapposto and then his cool cape.
He's
Debating whether we should actually make the pattern chiseled in, but I like the idea of people making whatever pattern they want on that cape.
Yeah. And then for the art, I think for these two pieces especially, Stephen Green did such a good job. Like, Lando is clearly changing the plan at this very moment, and Lobot's like, I guess I have to figure out how to make this work right now.
He's so
and
cranky.
Not happy about it.
That's the look that you give your boss when they're like, they gave you a project, you've been working on it for 2 weeks, and they're like, you know, what if we pivoted? And that's the pivot look.
The pivot.
I think we need a pivot. And you're just like,
That's why he doesn't have any hair left.
Yes.
What are you trying to say?
Wow.
Plumber goes through a lot of pivots, unfortunately. That's what we're saying.
She was alluding
right
to.
Okay, let's jump a little bit forward into early next year. So we showed off some of the renders for these next packs at the Adepticon roadmap. We're now ready to show off the final miniatures with fully paint, so you can see them in all their glory. First one up, requesting your surrender. So this is going back to the Galactic Republic and the fall of the Jedi era. And we have Kit Fisto, his former apprentice, now Jedi Knight. I got in trouble during rehearsals because I said it was just his Padawan. Nadar Veb. They're also going to come with another secondary option, which is Clone Commander Phil, and then Phil's clones are the supporting unit. So absolutely a squad that encapsulates that when they go on the hunt for Grievous and try to capture him on his home base. And of course, we all know it doesn't go super well for poor Nadar Veb.
No.
But he has
or
a lot
the
of fun
clones. But you know, Kit Fisto still has a reason to smile, I guess, at the end of it.
Always.
Always
looking on the bright
always
side.
Does. So a fantastic pack coming out for anyone who likes to play Jedi or clones. Moving on to the next one that's also going to come alongside of it, we have more lightsabers. And this is going to be the Wisdom of the Council squad pack. We showed some of the characters off for this. Now we see it in all of its glory. So we have Coyote Mundi, we have Shakti, And then we have the Jedi Padawans. Marco, tell us a little bit about the specialness of the Rodian Jedi Padawan.
That one comes with head options. You can choose a Rodian, you can choose a human or a Padawan, or you can choose a Zabrak Padawan, and you can swap their heads. And so I think that's pretty cool.
A little bit of customization, and then of course a nod to the Legends Clone Wars series with our Ithorian Padawan Jedi. As that,
I love them so much.
Yeah, so good. It's so fun to see an Ithorian finally in the full Jedi garb in miniature. Very exciting.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot more details on this squad coming out soon. We'll go ahead and give you a little bit of a spoiler though. Shaak Ti is a secondary.
Yep.
So this pack we've talked a little bit about. Since the game launched, a lot of players have been really interested in playing all Jedi sabers. This pack gets you one step closer to fulfilling that dream and that wish. And so we're excited to kind of complete that process. Shaak Ti, exciting secondary.
Very exciting.
In that we'll just leave you with the fact that she is the very first secondary that adds a force to your Will of the Force to represent just how powerful she is as a Jedi Master. And more on them to be coming later. Moving on to the next pack. So moving out of the Galactic Republic era back into the Galactic Civil War era. Another one of the big bumps or big focal points for next year is going to be Rogue One. So we're going to be moving into the Rogue One movie.
Singular.
There was only one. I wish I would love if there was a sequel, but that would be really hard.
Yes.
I guess technically there is.
There is. It's called Episode 4: A New Hope.
Yeah.
It has a whole new cast. I didn't see any of my favorites come back. It was very weird. I didn't know who any of these people were. It was so strange. But yeah, so all the way squad pack featuring Cassian Andor, K2SO, the Rebel Pathfinders, gorgeous looking sculpts. Mark, you got anything for these fine characters?
Other than that, my team did a great job. Sculptor, everything looks great. I'm excited for the Rogue One. I also really like the Rogue One movie, and so seeing these characters, it's really exciting.
So a lot planned around kind of this whole event. Of course, you can't have the Rebel side without an Imperial side. So we are getting the Deploy the Garrison squad pack. This one is a bit unique in the fact that it has 2 different supporting unit options. So you'll see that there are a lot of Death Troopers in it.
A lot of Death Troopers.
One of those is the secondary character for the unit. And then, of course, there is a supporting Death Trooper unit. And, of course, you can also play the supporting Shore Trooper unit. So you have the option to do either. We really wanted to represent the fact that Krennic, due to his position within the Imperial hierarchy, does always have a detachment bodyguard of Death Troopers. And that canonically, that is their whole role and function within the Star Wars galaxy, is to be part of the Science Division, I think, is what he's a part of. And to be bodyguards for those. But, of course, the big battle happens on Scarif. We absolutely wanted to get Shore Troopers into the game, so this pack will give you the option to do either. And obviously the Moff Gideon squad pack, which has another Death Trooper secondary in it. All of the Death Troopers, you're almost at oops all Death Troopers.
You can fit so many Death Troopers.
They all pair quite well together. Now we're going to move past things that have been finalized and painted. We're going to take a look at some of the deeper releases into the next year. Of course, we talked about how Rogue One was a big deal. People out there probably noticed that there are some very important characters missing. They are on the docket and they're coming up. So we're going to take our first look at the This is Rogue One squad pack featuring Bodhi Rook, Jyn Erso, Baze Malbus, and Chirrut Imwe. This one, I know a lot of folks in the office were super hype.
I'm so excited for this box.
And it's just a fantastic, characterful box and allows players to really bring that whole Rogue One strike team onto the table and play with everything. And
and I know Plummer and I have very strong feelings about the cable backpack on
It's majestic. Look at it.
And of course, Marco, being the king that he is, made sure that the cable backpack
is an option.
So if you don't want to have his telecom backpack, you can leave it off.
I guess.
Depending on what point in the movie you want to show.
Fair,
I got to say, the sculpting team knocked it out of the park as far as like the likeness and the stylization on these characters.
Dave Kidd did a great job. You know, cloth, likenesses, like you said. I mean, the posing, it's a really fun squad. And I got to say, Baze is shorter than we thought.
He's like an average-sized man, you know?
I know. I just felt his presence was larger than life.
Sometimes that's what great acting will do. It elevates you to that next level. And while we don't actually see it in the movie, Chirrut does have his his laser crossbow
Yep.
thing, and it's on his back. You can't really see it in the sculpt, but he is armed with it. Even though it never got used in the movie, it was part of the character, and so we wanted to make sure that he had it just to give him some versatility on the table. All right. So that kind of encapsulates what we're going to show from the Rogue One. We have some really cool marketing stuff coming along. There's going to be some fun developments and game content around that as well. So know that this is going to be a pretty big deep dive for us. And we're going to talk more about that when we get to the next roadmap at March at Adepticon 2025. I'm not going to say 26, although there will be a roadmap at 26 for
There
all
will
of these
be.
games
Spoiler
as well,
alert.
because that's what we do here. So let's bounce out of the Galactic Civil War / Rise of the Empire era, and let's jump back into the Galactic Civil War era. So we talked about wanting to play all sabers. There's another contingent of people who want to play all clones. And what better way to kind of dive more into that than by doing the famous Republic Clone Commando Squad, Delta Squad, Boss, Sev, Scorch, and Fixer. So this is going to be a new squad pack coming later in 2025.
Coming to party.
Coming to party.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. If you have a Jedi problem, they'll solve it.
That's correct.
There's zero questions about that. It's been so much fun to see these characters on the table and really bring them to life in the specific way that you're allowed to do so in a skirmish game like Shatterpoint. Also interesting to kind of juxtapose the different development cycles and how you represent characters between the different games that we get to work on and are so fortunate to be able to play in all the time. Galactic Republic, we've shown off a lot of Galactic Republic stuff. If you happen to be more of a Separatist lover, you are not forgotten. We definitely have some exciting stuff for you. And I'm going to let Simone just take it away for this very last drop.
It is time for everyone to be able to see my favorite shark boy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. It's Terror from Below, Riff Tamsin.
I just want to interpose for a second. I saw the Aqua Droids yesterday for the first time, and I cannot overstate how big they are, and it's awesome.
Very big.
They're enormous.
Yes.
Yeah, Evan was the one who was sculpting the Nosori there, and he looked majestic and awesome. And then once you put him next to the Aqua Droids, then it's just this
diminutive.
little, yeah.
Yep. So, of course, drawn from the Clone Wars arc where we have the Civil War on Mon Calamari between the Quarren and the Mon Cal. Riff Tamsin, I think one of the neatest and weirdest Star Wars race designs ever. When you're just like, well, they're a shark.
I loved when you handed me the design and I read it. It was just like, yes, this is great. It's just been a blast to play and work on the man,
So
the shark, the legend.
the legend.
Thank you.
The Shark Man legend. And so both these packs will be coming late in 2025. I keep wanting to say 26. It's not 26, it's 25 next year.
Look,
Here
it's right there.
I know, here's the release timeline kind of showing where things are and where they're falling within everything. It does say non-exhaustive, so while we
True.
do show off a lot of stuff at the roadmaps, sometimes we hold things that are secret.
It's hard to hold secrets.
Folks who watch the Adepticon roadmap and then were suddenly surprised by our May the 4th. This is some rescue squad pack reveal. You know what we're talking about. So it does happen. So don't hold us completely to this, but this is a pretty solid view of what to expect, what to be excited about, what we're excited about, and what's coming next. So with that, we have wrapped up our road journey on this roadmap.
Yeah.
And I got to go rewatch Rogue One now because I've been schooled by the chat. He does use the bow to shoot down one TIE fighter.
It's true.
And now that they've said that, I kind of remember it in my
Just
head.
one TIE fighter.
One TIE fighter. I got to go back. I got to go back and watch it again. All I remember is the cool stick fighting. So I have been learned today for the first time. I have no doubt it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Every panel.
Every panel?
Every
Wow,
panel.
you have no confidence in me, but
Savage.
I have
respect
confidence in our
I
community
respect it.
that's going to share
Oh, yeah.
things
Oh,
that
I
we
see.
are not
it.
aware of.
They've got it all. They've got
They'll
it
keep you
all.
in check.
They will. They will. They will. I think it just shows it's been I think it's been 18 months since I've watched Rogue One. I need to go watch it
That's
again.
a long
It's been
time.
A lot of Star Wars content to do through since then, too. That's part of the exciting part. Part of my day is just watching Star Wars stuff. Like, what's coming? What's next? What is next? Remember, key operations. You're gonna want to check out that panel. And then, of course, stick around. Dallas Kemp is going to be putting paint on all of the bounty hunters from the No Disintegrations character pack. Almost said squad pack. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Character pack coming out later this year. So stick around for that. We will see you over the course of the next 3 days. Thanks for joining us for the kickoff, and happy gaming.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Well, talk about bans. Don't mention any space games at all. And I got banned during that chat. That was and I was just talking about Lando. So I'll tell you guys what I said. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. All right, so the Shatterpoint roadmap was just some previews of new stuff. It wasn't as exciting as I was thinking it might have been. So not that big a deal. Not that big a deal. Bans for everybody. I saw a lot of bans. Like, if you said anything, I thought it was automatic ban about saying Armada. So let me go ahead and import all of the little screenshots that I took, and we'll have a wonderful time here. We'll have a wonderful time. This is that's a new language that I just invented. All right. There we go. All right, so we're going to look through all the Shatterpoint stuff because there's some pretty cool stuff here. Now, there's going to be more Shatterpoint news. I'm hoping. Now, let's talk about this. I want to like Shatterpoint more than I do. The models look awesome. Like the Mandalorians, I think looked awesome. This was the Shatterpoint roadmap. I want to be able to play with these guys more, but I struggle a lot with the way the game is because like nobody dies and like I can't, and then people are basically zombie units. B1s, you can't kill a B1 battle droid and they just keep shooting you and shooting you and shooting you and shooting you even when they're wounded and now invulnerable, but they can still keep shooting you, and it drives me crazy. So I'm actually working on my own rule set for Shatterpoint to make it a little bit more like how Marvel Crisis Protocol plays and fixes some of the things that I think are annoying. And we'll see. But I'm not going to release that just yet because they may have a new rule set to announce for Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint might be getting a new edition that makes it more fun. And so I want to give them a chance to do that before I go ahead and release a rule set. But it's something that's being worked on right now. All right. Riff Tamsin, yes, I did see Riff Tamsin. I couldn't say anything in chat because I was banned from the chat, which is super weird. All right, so we'll run through some of this stuff, and then I'm going to talk to you about what I said that got me banned. So we've got Crosshair coming out. We've got the Firebrand, which does look cool. They talked a lot about how to do flamethrowers in this game, and this was really, really difficult. Paz Vizsla, I think I'm more excited about the Mandalorians, especially Paz Vizsla here. It looks really cool. Keep in mind, he's a 5-point. He's a secondary with 2 stance cards. This is a big deal. Because I don't think we've seen a secondary with 2 stance cards before. Although they kind of made it out to be like it was a possibility from the beginning, but it was going to be extremely rare. So I thought that's really cool. So and the sculpt on this guy and the paint job, it looks just incredible. I mean, and this is all stuff we knew was coming, but it's cool to see it fully painted and get a close-up look at it. The other Mandalorians, the covert Mandalorians, everything in here has some kind of "this is the way." Wrecker has 2 stances. Okay. Well, so it is rare. I actually don't have the Bad Batch for Shatterpoint, so yeah. So I guess I forgot that one. All right, and then we got Boba and Dengar. These guys look pretty decent. They look pretty good. Boba has an As You Wish, which well, he can choose basically whether he's going to be a scoundrel or Empire at the beginning of the game. But I think it's fun. Shatterpoint is definitely making a name for itself. Ham says that's interesting. Painting Pawn says, Crabbok, did you see Drop Fleet Commanders getting a new faction and rulebook? I know there's a new edition That's on the way, but I haven't paid too much attention to that. Yeah. Ken says, do you think the new missions were something other than capture the point? You'd enjoy it more? Maybe. I know the latest mission pack is supposed to be a little bit more towards like you get extra momentum for wounding somebody or something like that, and I don't know if that's going to be enough. I really want, like, I really wish the game played more like just a death match, and that's where I'm trying to not make it a straight death match. I still want it to have the objectives, but I want deathmatch to be an option, and actually be able to remove models, because that makes the game quicker, and then you can play a whole other game. You know, like, yes, your model might come off the board, but that's okay. Then the game ends faster, and then you set up and play again. You know, that's my thought. So I wonder if they're going to have that, whether it's going to be a new edition or if they're just going to do an alternate game mode. I'm curious what they're going to do, and that'll be announced later on in this. General Veers and the Snowtroopers look all right. The weird thing here is the sculpt for General Veers looks very different than the art. First off, it's a whole different pose, because and then the face, like the model looks like just a generic human, doesn't look anything like General Veers, whereas the art looks a lot like Julian Glover. So they actually captured General Veers' likeness in the art on the card. It's a great piece of art on the card, a great drawing, great angle, but the model actually looks kind of unimpressive to me. I don't know why they gave him a piece of metal to stand on. Just throw that out, just have him stand straight. You made him in a boring pose. You don't have to have him standing on anything when you give him like the worst possible pose, or the most, I mean, maybe not worst, but the most simple, like different, contrasting than everything else that they've ever done. This is the one that got me banned though. Now this is a really good looking Lando. Art looks good. Lobot looks cool. Lando sculpt looks cool. I think a lot of people will have fun with the cape, doing different designs for the inside of the cape. Tactical rocks are out. Tactical metal is in, says Clyde. That's funny. That's really funny. Ben, you met Julian Glover. It's a Star Wars Celebration. Yeah, I hear he is very, very nice. That's very cool. Okay, so yes, Shadow Man hobbies. When Boba Fett says "as you wish," what he really meant was "I love you." No, Boba Fett and Darth Vader actually, you know, they go storm the castle, and it'd be awesome. No, so they started talking in the chat about how Lando's look as he's like this, as he's like like he's getting ready to change the plan. He's just like, they had a plan, and at the last minute he's like, you know what, I'm gonna pivot. I got a whole new idea, and then Lobot's like, oh no, he's changing the plan. So I made the jokes like, yeah, Lando's saying there, on second thought, let's make a new wave of Armada. And that got me banned. Like, I was playing into what they were saying. I thought I was being, you know, clever and funny, haha. But apparently they're like, no, you're done. Done. You can be supportive and talk about how awesome these miniatures look all day long, but you say one thing about a game that you like, done. Get them the hell out of here. So... yeah, and now I wasn't sure if it was just an automatic thing. Is it an auto moderator just banning certain keywords? And so some of the guys in the channel posted something different, and it said something about like, man, it'd be great if you guys also did a spaceship game, and then instantly banned. So they either have a whole lot of keywords that extend well beyond X-Wing and Armada, but I don't think so, because he said something about Chirrut Imwe just doing, you know, stick fighting. And then people were like, no, Chirrut shot down a TIE fighter with that thing. He shoots with that. So I think they, you know, yeah. So, yeah. So I think they're going to have, yeah, I don't know. Is AMG doing the community wrong with the bans? I think they're being very aggressive with it. Maybe too aggressive. I don't know. I'm curious if they weren't doing the bans. I didn't think there was going to be that many people trolling them about X-Wing and Armada and stuff like that, because it was announced long enough ago that I think people have kind of gotten over it. I mean, I think Armada, as the Armada community as a whole, I would wager is mostly relieved that AMG isn't doing anything with it, because we don't want like them doing their, basically giving Armada the X-Wing 2.5 treatment. We don't want them just completely murdering the game. So I think we're kind of like, whew, we dodged a bullet there. AMG didn't make any, you know, massive changes to our game. You know, and then X-Wing has some of the best community members, you know, stepping up and getting ready to take over development and the future of that game, and that's actually kind of cool. And we're going to be talking about X-Wing. We're going to be sitting down with the X-Wing Alliance next week. I'm recording an interview, so it'll probably go live the week after that, where we talk with some X-Wing Alliance folks and ask some questions and get more information about that. And of course, Armada has ARC, and the future of ARC and the future of Armada are, in good hands right now. And so I think that even though while there won't be the in-store, like, brand new SKU, like, in the box, brand new product showing up in stores, despite that, their games are still in relatively good hands right now. So I think the community would have been fine without all of this constant banning. I don't think they really need to do bans over, like, lighthearted, simple, like little things. But it's their Twitch channel; they can do whatever they want. So, yeah, interesting. I'm gonna start scrolling the chat to see who I want to ban. I actually did have to put somebody in timeout for being nasty, so don't be nasty to one another. Okay, be nice in chat, even if somebody has an opinion that you disagree with. Just if you got something nasty you want to say, type it up, but don't hit enter. Like, type it up in a notepad file, type it up, save that file, drag it to the recycle bin, empty the recycle bin. There you go. At least you typed it up. You got it out of your system. All right, moving on with Shatterpoint. We're going to announce the winner to the Lone Wolf giveaway here in a minute, too. Let's see. So we've got Kit Fisto and Clone Trooper Phil, which was really weird. And I had just typed Clone Trooper Phil, like, his name is Phil, when my ban happened. So I didn't know if I was banned for saying Phil or for saying Armada. But yeah, it was clearly the Armada thing. I just said it in a nice way, too. I was like, I don't know. And then Wisdom of the Council squad pack. This one looks awesome. Ki-Adi-Mundi and Shakti. Shakti is a secondary. They look really cool. It's very cool stuff. And then Rogue One. I think this was the biggest news of the Shatterpoint news cycle here, is that we're getting a Rogue One pack. We got Cassian Andor, we're getting K2SO, we've got Rebel Pathfinders in there. They look awesome. And then Krennic, and he's got 2 different support options. He can run Death Troopers or Shore Troopers, and he's got a Death Trooper secondary. So he's going to have multiple ways to have Death Troopers with him, which is pretty cool. Isn't there also a Death Trooper in the Thrawn pack also? Or no, I'm sorry, it's the Moff Gideon pack. So you could run lots of different Death Troopers, which that's going to get confusing because they all look the same. So I'm not super crazy about that. Like, you'd have to write something on them. Yeah, the Gideon pack, thank you. Yeah. So that could get a little wild. And then we've got Chirrut Imwe and Baze Malbus and Jyn Erso, and then Bodhi Rook for the This Is Rogue One squad pack. This is a nice looking squad pack. Like, only one of these characters exists in Star Wars Legion right now, and, like, they should all definitely exist in Star Wars Legion. Yeah. Kind of surprised Melshi didn't make it into the... Well, hold on a second. Let's go back. Yeah, Melshi is not one of those Pathfinders. Well, there's room. There's room for Melshi. Melshi might show up in Andor Season 2. There's room. But yes, I think it was like, hey, look, we can put X number of named characters in there, and Bodhi Rook gets a lot more screen time than Melshi. I think Melshi had like 1 or 2 lines. So, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so and then some clones. We got Delta Squad, which is coming too. It's pretty cool. And then the Terror from Below, Riff Tamson. Really happy to see Riff Tamson show up in this game. I think that's super cool. I love the sculpt for him. I absolutely love him. I also want him in Legion. Definitely want him in Legion. Like, he could be a commander or an operative. You see him kind of going out on his own a lot. But he was also leading folks. I could see it being either way. And they have these big Aqua droids also coming for Legion. So maybe I guess the hard part is that this and Legion are in such similar scales. Not exactly the same scale. You know, these models are definitely larger, but they're in close enough scales that when you see one game get something and the other game not, it's like, what in the world is going on? Saw Gerrera? Oh, Saw Gerrera absolutely needs to show up in both games. Definitely Legion and his partisans and stuff. He could be a battle force. It'd be like a whole rebel terror cell battle force or something like that. I'd love it. I'd love it. All right, let's do a giveaway. Let's do a giveaway. Lone Wolf. All right. And by the way, and Boar Gullet and oh my God, we are also going to be doing. And once I'm done with this stream, I'll throw some of this stuff up there. Lone Wolf is going to go out to Matthias NL. So congratulations, Matthias. Go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. Remember to tell me what you won, so I don't accidentally send you the wrong thing. We're also throwing up a fire control system on Discord and a Horton Psalm on Patreon giveaways. So we got extra promos. As if you didn't win, there's other chances to win. I'll leave the Discord giveaway going for a little while. We also have a giveaway going on for the recent Battle Foam video. If you guys want to scroll back in some of my recent videos, we did a Battle Foam video, and there's a chance to win some Shatterpoint foam. So definitely check that out. Battle Foam sent over a bunch of stuff. Really cool sponsored content I was doing with them. I was happy to accept them as a sponsor because they're like they have great stuff. I love Battle Foam's stuff. But they sent over some Shatterpoint foam, and it's really cool if you're looking to transport your Shatterpoint foam. There's also a discount code in there. So but you can win some of the Shatterpoint foam trays, the foam trays, if you want to win those. If you're a Shatterpoint player, definitely check that out because that giveaway is going to run for about another week, so you have still time left to go in there and do that one. That's a separate giveaway than all my other regular giveaways. So fun stuff. And then they gave the timeline. They gave the timeline of all the new stuff that's coming. So there we go. Shatterpoint, a lot of cool new stuff. I think the Rogue One stuff is the coolest takeaway. Well, the Rogue One and the Mandalorians. The Rogue One stuff and the Mandalorian stuff, very, very cool. Sasquatch says, dude, it's very sad how much love is given to Shatterpoint and how much is lacking for Legion. I can see why you'd say that, but I want to kind of put some brackets on this. Shatterpoint is in its first year. It is still in its launch year. It's only been out for a couple of months, right? So it's in its first 12-month window. Actually, when did Shatterpoint actually launch? Let me Google that. Launch Star Wars Shatterpoint. Like what month was it? Oh no! It's just about at the end of the first year. Yeah, it kind of had its soft launch at Adepticon, but then came out a couple months after that. So, or a month or two. So, all right. So Shatterpoint's at the tail end of its first year, I should say. It's been out for a year now. Yeah, you're right. Couple of months, 12 months, couple of months, same thing. All right. Gosh, time is flying. The older I get, the faster time seems like it's going. I think I'm gonna have, I'm gonna be walking with a cane tomorrow probably. But yeah, so at the tail end of its first year, it's still expected to have gotten a lot more in its first year, and that includes these announcements, right? This is normal. Look at Legion's first year. Look at Legion's first 2 years even. You got a ton more than all the other games. Marvel Crisis Protocol had a ton in its first year, even its first 2 years. So yes, Marvel Crisis Protocol and Shatterpoint are the golden, the favorites. Marvel Crisis Protocol is probably the favorite, and it still is going to have some new stuff, but it doesn't get that much new stuff. But like Atomic Mass Games loves MCP. It's their golden child. They love it more than every other game. And even that is taking a backseat to Shatterpoint right now because Shatterpoint's still in its first year, or ending its first year, getting ready to start its second year, right? So it's to be expected. I don't think it means that they're not. I mean, like, look, they're doing a lot with Legion. They're reprinting everything. We're gonna find out later today what the plan is for Legion. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting, and we will be back. What time are we going to be back? We'll be back at, well, this next stream starts at 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific. Now, we'll be jumping on about a half hour prior, so we'll probably be starting at about 4 Eastern. And we are going to talk about Legion. Is it getting a new edition? A new second edition for Legion? The big news. They said this has been 3 years in the making. We're going to talk about that. And there's a lot of predictions. This is going to be the biggest stream ever. So, with that, I will let you guys go. I will talk to you later. And if you want to watch the rest of Ministravaganza and this painting streams and stuff like that, yeah. Tomorrow's the, yes, if you guys are watching, tomorrow is the roadmap for Legion. But they're unveiling the biggest news today. And the roadmap will build on the roadmap is going to be more new expansion stuff. But it's going to tie in and fill out some more of the details. But the big bomb drops today. Whatever the new, I mean, we're going to call it new edition right now. But whatever the big new change that they've been working for 3 years on for Legion, that drops today at 4. Well, I'll be going live at 4 o'clock Eastern. 4:30 the stream starts. So if you can get into that. If you join late on YouTube and you're watching the watch party, you can just rewind and pick up from wherever you want. And so you can do that. Hopefully you guys got everything. I'll be putting, summary cliff notes together, and at some point next week I'll do a catch-up video. So in case you're not, maybe I'll do it Sunday. I don't know. But I'll do here's everything, or maybe Monday. Sunday, or I'll try and get it out early next week. I have a Cyberpunk video going live Monday. That is a gameplay walkthrough for a new Cyberpunk game that is coming to GameFound. And it's a cool game, but that one's on a timetable, so that one has to go live Monday. But that doesn't mean I can't potentially publish 2 videos in a Monday. I usually don't do that, but I might do that for you guys if you guys want to have everything. We'll see. I'll figure out a good time, and a lot of it depends on how much news there is for Legion and how long it takes me to kind of sort it all together. All right, guys, that's going to do it for now. I will talk to you later. We'll be back at 4 o'clock. So go enjoy the rest of your day and, paint some cool stuff. Jump in our Discord. Don't forget to jump in the Discord if you're not there already. Links on social media. Also, we're going to be doing more like live stream hangouts and kind of podcast format, open discussion stuff with patrons in the future. I think I'm going to try and start that soon. I don't know if it's going to start this month or next month, but if you're interested in Patreon, I'll be making some changes to that, but that's a great way to support the channel. Plus, you can get your name in the credits right here at the different levels, and I'm even thinking about opening up a new level. I don't know. It's crazy. There's a lot of brainstorming stuff. I'm open to feedback with it, but anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I want to thank you so much. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes, and always wash your socks. See ya.